बुधवासरः दिनाङ्कः 7 December 7th 2011 Wednesday व्याकरणविभागः grammar section मंगलाचरणं रामो राजमणिः सदा विजयते रामं रमेशं भजे रामेणाभिहता निशाचरचमू रामाय तस्मै नमः रामान्नास्ति परायणं परतरं रामस्य दासोऽस्म्यहम् रामे चित्तले सदा भवतु मे भो राम मामुद्धर राम रामेति रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं राम नाम वरानने श्रीराम नाम वरानन ओन्नम इति अथ श्री माहेश्वर सूत्राणि अ इ उण् ऋ ए ओङ् ऐ औच हयवरट् लण् ञ मङ न नम जबैङ् घडदश जब गडदश खफ छ ठ थ च ट थव कपैश श सर हल इति माहेश्वर सूत्राणि. Again, this is Wednesday, December 7th. Okay, last class we were looking at the bottom of this page, which is page number 142 at the bottom of this page. And we're talking about these what they call primary suffixes, which is krut pratyaha, and secondary suffixes atadhitaha. So just to refresh our memory, krut pratyaha starts from this adhikara, of course, of krudating, which starts from 3193. So any pratyaya which is defined from 3193 to the end of chapter 3, which is not a ting pratyaya. In that ting, of course, means the 18 pratyayas defined in 3478, tiptajji, etc. So barring these, any other pratyaya, which are any other affixes which are prescribed from 3193 onwards, they get the sanya of krut. That's why Panini started the second dhatoho adhikara from 3191, even though dhatoho was coming from 3122. Because of the fact that he wanted to put these three rules over here, which are tatra papadam saptami stham, krud ating, and vasrupostriyam. These three, vasrupostriyam. So these three rules, sutratrayam, they only apply for this dhatu adhikara, starting from here, not from the prior one. That's why Panini restarts the dhatu adhikara and put these three, which will only apply to this adhikara. Of course, right now we're concerned with this one, krud the thing, define what is krut pratyaha, and we're also going to, of course, use the tatra padam saptami stham. Tatra, that tatra is what signals that these three rules are only for this dhatu adhikara. Tatra means asmin dhatu adhikare, this one dhatu adhikara. So that dhatu adhikara which was just started, which was this one here. Okay, now we have seen that. Okay, let's look at what the book is saying. We saw this last time, just refreshing ourselves. So the Anubandha ka bars guna, of course, we know that. So the sutram here, which we're talking about, there's three rules we saw last time. Of course, Anubandha ka bars guna is simply kiniticha, which I've been using repeatedly many times in this class, also in the daily examples. As the usual reminder is that please follow daily examples. A lot of work goes into those daily examples. So, here, because these are, if you find any errors in daily examples, let us know, we'll make the corrections. That is the backbone of all the classes, because we only have class once a week or whatever, and the daily examples are really what stay, on the web so people can access them. So then we have used this sutram kiniticha many times. In the beginning of Ashtadhyaya itself, Panini has the sutram kiniticha 115. Okay, and the ka pratyaha, we saw these three rules last time. We saw this rule 31136 atashchopasarge, with the warning that atashchopasarge also comes in the striyam ktin adhikaraha. Striyam ktin starts from 3394. The same sutram atashchopasarge comes there also. That forms feminine nouns. That also, we are not looking at that sutram right now. The same sutram atashchopasarge will come somewhere here. Here it is, 33106 atashchopasarge. Right now the one we're looking at 31136. So that's the pratyaya which precede the pratyaya ka to form these adjectives in the active sense. The second sutram which we saw last time was atonopasarge kaha. Also, these two itself are confusing, isn't it? They sound about the same. One is atashchopasarge and one is atonopasarge kaha. Atonopasarge kaha. So this has the anuvritti of karmani coming down from here. So this will form a upapada samasaha. See, in both these rules, here you have anupasarge is a saptami. Anuvritti of karmani is coming down also in saptami. So that we are in the adhikar of tatra upapadam saptami stham from 3192. So virutti we saw last time of these two rules, and we also saw supistaha. Okay, let's go back quickly and see what we saw last time before we continue. So here we were, and we saw these three rules. One is, let's start from the Atashchopasarge actually is coming in the Ashtadhyaya order, Ashtadhyayanukramena. You see here, Atashchopasarge says that Akarantebhyo dhatubhyaha upasarge upapade ka pratyaya bhavati. So because upasarge is in saptamistham, so tatra upapadam saptamistham. Saptamistham means any upasarga, not the word upasarga, but anything which qualifies for any upasarga. For upasarga, we know, you've seen in the daily examples many times, which is that pradayah upasarga kriya yoge, that's 1:459, which means pradis is 22 pradis, which we have seen repeatedly when they are used in connection with a action, dhatu doing an action, then it is, they are said to be upasarga kriya yoge, upasarga sanya. So, so this sutram says akarantebhyo dhatubhyo upasarga upapade ka pratyaya bhavati nasya pavada. This sutram coming later on, 31141, which actually prescribes the pratyaya na pratyaha. There also ad is coming in that sutram. Ad is coming in the sutram, but this sutram is an apavada for that. When this is the upasarga upapade, upasarga is upapadam, then this pratyaya ka is you. That's the key condition for 31136. There has to be an upasarga in as the upapadam. Let's look at 31141 very briefly. It says that anupasarga aditi says vibhasha nivrittam. Okay, this akarantebhyascha dhatubhyaha. This was had na pratyaya bhavati. So that is what would have come, but we have that. Since this is that would have been a general rule. The apavada for that is 311. Of course, this rule is not in the book, not in our book right now. But the reason we're mentioning that is that at is there in this sutram or here also. So that would have brought the pratyaya na as a general rule. They take the pratyaya na. So like the word. Anyway, there's some examples I've given here. Now. But what we need right now is if upasarga is an upapadam, then pratyaka is used. Example we gave last time, abhijanati abhijnaha. Abhijnaha is one who is an expert, a connoisseur, one who knows something well, abhijnaha. So the prakriya we did last time also, because abhi gets upasarga sanya, upasarga kriya yoge, dhatu is jna avabodhane, and pratyaka comes, all the conditions are satisfied. Now first this is a compound. We have to start with a samasa vidhaka sutram from 2:1 or 2:2, and for upapada samasa the sutram is upapadam ating 2:219. So these two steps are always the same. Then 3:192 starts the adhikar of tatropapadam saptami stham, and then we get atashchopasarge. So that's sutram 3:136. So this is how the chain goes. We should not forget those first two rules, because any compound she'll want to start from to always start. Any compound has to start from either 2:1 or 2:2. Then abhi plus gnya plus anubandha lope lashakvatadhite tasya lopaha, and then comes ato lopa iti cha. Ato lopa iti cha says that if you have an akaranta mangam followed by an ajaji pratyaya, which is either kit nit or there's an idagama there, the pratyaya has to have sanya of ardha dhatu come. Because of the adhikara this is adhikara of ardha dhatu ke. So ato lopa iti cha is a sutram here, which I think we saw in the class last time. Ato lopa iti cha should be here in our notes somewhere. Ato lopa iti cha. Ato lopa iti cha, ato lopa iti cha, ato lopa iti cha. Maybe I think we already seen it previously, so I think I didn't put it. Okay, let's look at ato lopa iti cha. 6464, 6464. Ato lopa iti cha. Okay. Anyway, we can see it here itself. Ato lopa iti cha. Atolo is a very important sutra in the Adhikar of Ardhadhatuke. Ardhadhatuke. It says Ajadyor Ardhadhatukayoho Knititoho Parayoho Ato Lopaha. So we should have a Ajari Pratyaya following, which is Sanya of Ardhadhatukam, is either Kit or Nit, or it has an Idagamaha. In that case, the Angam takes Lopaha, Alontyasya, the Akarasya Lopaha. So that is what we have. So all of these places, don't forget Ato Lopa iti cha, Ato Lopa iti cha. Okay, so now, okay, let me get back to where we are. So this is all from last time. Okay, now here we are. So we had Abhijña. So after Akar Lopaha, we got Abhijña. Now similarly, we use the sutram, the second one which we just saw, which is the Ato Nupasarge Kaha. This sutram has anuvritti of karmani coming down. We have to always watch the anuvrittis, anuvritti of karmani from karmanyan. So this is apavada for karmanyan. This sutram apavada for karmanyan, because if nothing else was said in karmani upapade, anpratyasya, anpratyaya. But when you have akaranta dhatu with no upasarga, then the pratyaka is used. So adanta dhatu anupasargat karmanyapapade kasyat, pratyaka is used. Anopavadaha, because otherwise 3-2-1 karmanyan is a default rule. So anytime you have a karma upapadam, when you're forming upapada samasaha, always start with karmanyan. That's the default rule. Okay, and if that did not apply, must be some special rule which is blocking that. So an example from Jalam Dadati Jaladaha. Steps are all the same. Dudain, Dane, Jala plus in this case, this karma is upapadam. Nivritti of karmani from karmanyan, 3-1. Pratyaya is ka. So maybe it's 3-3. Otherwise, these two steps are the same. Tatropapadam saptamistam. Tatropapadam saptamistam. Sorry. Upapadam ating. Tatropapadam saptamistam. And then lashak patadhite anubandha lopaha. Ato lopa iti cha. Again, when we say ajadi, haladi, ekach, anekach, everything, anubandha lopa sati. Always remove the anubandha. They're only packing. So this is ajadi pratyaya because this ka is in it, but shakutadite. And then alontyasya the akara goes away because jalada, because pradipadika sanya vikruttazita samasa, ashchita samasaha. And then supo dhatu pradipadika yoho because jalada. Then we also saw the word sutram supistaha. This is a very famous sutram supistaha. Not only that, there is a yoga vibhaga being done over here. Yoga vibhaga means the sutram is split in order to allow those include some situations which will otherwise not strictly be included in that. That's called yoga vibhaga. This is not a very good way to resolve a situation, but when nothing else prevails, yoga vibhaga is done. Again, for us, the good news is that we don't have to worry about doing it ourselves. It has already been done in the Mahabhashyam or in the Kakashika or Siddhanta Kaumudi. So whenever yoga vibhaga is required, it's already been done by the commentators. So we don't have to do any yoga vibhaga ourselves. So Kashika itself says, and Siddhanta Kaumudi says, so supiti yoga vibhajyate. The supi, so you separate supi, a separate sutram, and then make sthaha. So then what happens is that if you look at the order here, this 3-2-3, 3-2-4, we just looked at 3-2-3 in detail. If it's 3-2-4, the anuvritti of ataha will come down there. You just make supi as a pratak yoga, pratak sutram. The yoga means sutram in this case. Okay, so then what happens is that we'll get the meaning as supyupapade adantat kahasyat. So then what it means is that any dhatu ending in akaraha can take when a sup is an upapadam, you can take the pratyaya kaha, take the pratyaya ka. So that would be the meaning, and then it will be stha will be next sutram. So of course stha will be the special case of that, but others also. So this in supistaha, in short, we include not only the dhatu shtha gati nivrittau, but other dhatus ending in akara also by yoga vibhaga. So then we have the sutram dvabhyam pibati iti dipaha. Dvabhyam pibati iti dipaha. So then we have someone who drinks by using two instruments. So by his trunk, with his trunk, so karena mukhena cha. So he drinks with his trunk and with his mouth. It's an elephant basically. So dvabhyam. This has to be any soup. It doesn't have to be karma. So this is the tritiya. This is the karana. The upapadam is a karanam, so which is dvabhyam pibati tidvipaha. So dhatu is papani. So this is how we use the yoga vibhagaha to include these other dhatus which end in akaraha. Not only the dhatu shtha. And then steps are the same, dvi plus in this case bhyam, then upapadam ating, tatra upapadam saptami stham, then yoga vibhaga of supistha. These all, remember kartari krut, don't forget kartari krut. Not mentioning the sutram all the time, but kartari krut says that any krut pratyaha, which is what we call the participles, what Antoine calls the primary suffixes, they are normally kartari by, I shouldn't say normally, I should say by default they are kartari. Kartari. Of course, we know that there's an important apavada for that is tayoreva krityakta klarthaha. But right now, the apavada is not coming into play. So kartari krut, all these are kartari krut. So abhijanati iti abhinyaha. It's the doer of the action. The doer is the karta kartari krut. Here also same thing. It's the one who drinks using two. So it's a hasti. So it's also kartari krut. So kartari krut. And then also put here for is prathama nidishtam sama upasajanam purvam, because always look at the samasa vidhayaka sutram, which is upapadam ating. Upapadam is prathama nidishtam, so that will make it the upasajanam, because prathama nidishtam samasa upasajanam. So upapadam ating, in that sutram upapadam prathama nidishtam gets the upasajana sanya, since upapada is dvi. That goes purvam by upasarjanam purvam. And nothing new, we do it all the time, but just to remind you one more time of that. So that, by that upasarjanam purvam, dvi gets the purunipataha. So we get same thing now, we get anubandha lopa lashakvata dite, tasya lopaha, and we get this ardhatuka sanya for the pratyaka, which is the ardhatukam shesha, ting shitsarvadhatukam, ardhatukam sheshaha. And that's required to apply 6464, because 6464 comes in the adhikara of ardhadhatuke. So now everything is satisfied, so we get ato lopa iticha, the akara goes away, the samudaya gets pratipadik sanya by krita samasa, shcha is samasaha, and finally we do sup look by supo dhatu pratipadika yoho, we got dipa. And we also use for another example, shtagati nivuttau. We have seen this previously. What happened was that we used the sutra supistha in prior classes because there were examples at that time we required supistha. So even though the book had not introduced the sutra at that time, we used it because it was required to do some examples that were given in the book. So that's why this is only a copy paste from a prior class. So shtagati nivruttau, in Gita we have these verses like kutastaha, madhyastaha. Comes in Gita also in chapter 14, Jaganya Guna Vrittistha, Adhogachanti Tamasaha. So chapter 14. Always keep the Gita playing in your back of your mind at all times. So you can make a lot of connections with that. So when you chant these shlokas of Gita, always think of this sutram, supistha. It's very hrudayastha. All of these are very famous forms. It's a very, very common usage. So madhyastaha is again, it's just a copy paste from a prior class. So madhya tishtati ti madhyastaha. Supistha does not require a karma upapadam. It's not karmanya upapade, but it says supi. So this is the adhikaranam. So madhya tishtati madhyastha. Steps are the same steps. Madhya plus madhya plus ni saptami ekavachanam. Stha plus all the same steps. Upapadam ating, tatrapupadam saptamistam, supistaha. But in this case, we actually have the dhatu shtagati nivruttau. No need for yoga vibhaga in this example, because yoga vibhaga only required if you have a dhatu other than stha, ending in akara. This time we have stha itself. Of course, stha means the shakarasya sakaradeshaha by dhatva deshasaha. The nimittapaye naimittikasyaapyapayaha. The shtunashtu reverses itself, you get dhatu stha. Remaining steps are the same. Anubandha lopaha, ato lopa iticha, and then supluk madhyastha. So this is where we were last time. We saw these three rules. This is where we were last time. So let's go back to the book, make sure we have covered everything from here. Jalam dadati iti jaladaha, that is atonupasarge kaha, karmanyapapade atonupasarge kaha. And then madhupibati, same thing, madhupaha is a be, same atonupasarge kaha. You have to check that karmanyapapade anupasarge, both have to be checked. Grihe tishtati, this is the supistaha. So this one is supistaha, grihe grihasthaha. Grihasthaha is there. And then abhijanati, this abhijanati, as we just saw, is ataschopasarge, ataschopasarge. Nibhati, it is nibhaha. This is a very adjective as used many times, which is probably in the end of compounds. End of compounds. So we can say nibha at the end, so you put something there, you know, and then put at the end of the compound, saying that this is resembling that sadrishaha. Sadrishaha, it appears, one which appears like, you know, resembles nibhaha. And then sutishtati, again you have to use ataschopasarge, because we have akaranta dhatu upasarge, ataschopasarge. Sustaha. By the way, I think all of you should know that, you know, we have all these, not we means, we have these things available online. For example, you can go to the Bhagavata Puranam and see where the word nibha comes. You'll probably find some usages here. So if you want to find some usages, let's say nibha. Just type nibha. We just saw, you know, sannibha, particularly sannibha. Sannibha also used. And let's try sannibha. That's used quite a lot. Let me see if I can get in there. And see, I'm just mentioning to you that you can use these resources to find good examples of the sannibha. Oh, no, I didn't find it. Okay, normally we should find some example in the Bhagavatam. Sometime may not be there, of course. Varsha vatashan nibhyascha. No. I mean, I use this to get good examples. You know, here it is. Shailendra sannibhau. Okay, here it is. Shailendra, so Mallau Shailendra Sannibhau. So these were two wrestlers. This is when Lord Sri Krishna went to Mathura and they had, Kamsa had his wrestling match for them, right? So in that, I think this is in that context. Mallau, these are two wrestlers. Shailendra Sannibhau. So they resemble like the two giant mountains. Shailendra Sannibhau. So you see Sannibha. So what I'm talking about, Sannibha. So you have at the end of a compound, Sadrishav. So Sannibhati di Sannibhaha. So this is the sutram, Ataschopasarge, which we just studied. So, okay. So this is just, so these are, we have many of these works available online. You can nicely go and search and find good examples. So like Ramayana is there, Bhagavata Puranam is there. Of course, all the Kavya Grantha are there, Raghuvamsha, etc. Okay. So going back now, where are we today? Today we are going to the next page, I think. Yes, we're going to the next page. And this one starts with this pratyaya da. The da pratyaya is used in a number of places, but one which is given over here is the suffix is added to the root jan, preceded by a preposition or a noun, and to the root gum, preceded by su, this, or a noun. Jan becomes ja and gum becomes ga. Okay, let's look at this rule. Let's look at these rules now. Let's start with 3297. 3297. 3297 says that saptamyam janer daha. In fact, let's just give you the 4 rules that we are going to look at in this section, which is 3297. As I mentioned too many times, that many of these Upapada Samasas, a lot of them are given in the section from 3 to 1 to 3 to 101, about 100 roughly, 100, 101, and there is this last one there. In that, they go other places also, but a lot of them come in this section, and they, the one here is, towards the end of that section is Saptamyam Janer Daha. So Saptamyam is Saptami of Saptami. It is Saptami of Saptami. The word Saptami declined in Saptami Ekuja is Saptamyam. So when you have a Saptamyantam as the Upapadam, always don't forget Tatra Upapadam Saptami Stham. Any sutram you look at from 3192 to end of chapter 3, never forget Tatra Upapadam Saptami Stham. So in Saptami, let's look at the Vritti right here. So we're going to look from 3297 up to 32101. Saptamyam Janirdaha is the first sutra means Saptimi Upadam. Then Panchamyam Jatau. If you have Panchamyantam as Upapadam, it should not be a Jati Vachaka Shabdaha. In Upasarga Sanyayam. Upasarga can be Upapadam, and which has to be Sanya, it should be a proper noun, Sanyayam. Not an adjective, but a proper noun. Now all these are giving Janirdaha. So the Jatu Jan will take the Pratyaya Da. Either when you have a Saptami as Upapadam or Panchami as Upapadam, which is not a Jati Vachaka Shabdaha, or Upasarga is there, but it has to be Sanyayam. Anau Karmani, or if Anu is there, and then Upasarga Anu is there, but then it requires a Karma as the Upapadam. And then lastly, Anyeshvapi Drishyate. So Anyeshvapi Upapadeshu api Drishyate. Which means that this is like a loose extension. So not only the ones mentioned from 3297 to 100, but the Dhatu Jan will take the Pratyaya Da, even when there are some other upapadas also. So that allows us to extend this Da Pratyaya for the Dhatu Jan in other cases also. Other cases means something other than these is Upapadam. We'll look at some examples shortly. So these are these 5 rules. The Dhatu Jan takes a Pratyaya Da to forming Upapada Samasa. That's so. Saptamyam Janirdaha, Saptam Upapade, Panchamyam Ajatau, Pancham Upapade, but Ajatau, Upasarge, but Sanyayam, and Anau Karmani. So it has to be, if Anu is there, like it has to be Karmani Upapade, Anau Karmani. So Anyafidrishyate. So let's look at this. Let's look at the first one over here, Saptamya, and then the Dhatu Gam which is talking about. That one is 3248. Okay, 3248 also a famous sutram, like okay, let's go to Gita 3248. Antatyanta Dva Dura Para Sarvananteshu Sarvatra Gamachintyancha Kutastham Machalandhravam comes in Gita. Sarvatra Gamachintyancha. So Sarvatragam, which goes everything chapter maybe chapter 13, Sarvatragamachintyancha. So when you see the Pratyaya Dhatu Gam taking the Pratyaya Da, think of this sutram Sarvatragamachintyancha Kutastham Machalandhravam. So that comes in Gita. Okay, now let's look at the vritti first of all. So Saptamyam Janirdaha. We already looked at that. Saptami of Saptami. Saptamyante Upapade. So when you have a Saptamyantam as the Upapadam, Janir Dhatoho, Daf Pratyaya Bhavati. I think by this time I hope you have enough confidence to read the vrittis on your own, read Siddhanta, because that's the purpose of the class, any of these classes, is to get us to the point where we can read the Siddhanta Kaumudi, Kashika, Mahabhashyam, and all these commentators on our own. So then we don't need the class daily, because once we can follow what they are saying, then we can explore on our own. So Saptamyanti Upapade, Janir Dhatur Daf Pratyaya Bhavati. As I always say to you, after you recite the sutram a few times, always pay your respect to the Vrittikaraha, because they have spent their lives for us, so we can have a vritti which accurately describes perfectly what the sutram is saying. So please pay respect to them, because they didn't have to do that. They did it just for us, so we can learn the vrittis. And also not only Kashikakaraha, but Bhattuji Dikshita particularly spent their entire life, not entire life, but to help us basically. So Saptamyanti Upapade, Janor Dhator Daf Pratyaya Bhavati. Straightforward. Saptamyantam is the Upapadam, and Dhatu Jan takes a Pratyaya Da. Now one thing here is that the sutram comes in the adhikara of bhute. Be careful about that now. It's called adhikara of bhute. In fact, this I think I have made this mistake myself in I think one of the prior classes, and I apologize for that. And the same I think problem is coming in the book also. If you look at the book, the Vigraha Vakyam which he has given, Vigraha Vakyam given here is the See, it's given Sarasi Jayate. I think this we need to change this because we are in the Bhute Adhikaraha. Yeah, this is how these adhikaras are so important. See, when Panini starts with adhikaras, they're very, very, very important. So, these adhikaras, particularly in 3.2, are very easy to remember because they go along the, uh, like past, present, future. Kalanukramena, Kalanukramena, Kalanukramena. So we have Bhute starting from 3 to 84, Bhute Adhikara. So these affixes can only be used in the sense of past. And then starts the Adhikara of Vartamane Lat. I mean, Adhikara Vartamane starts from Vartamane Lat. Then Bhavishyati comes in 333, I think. 333, Bhavishyati. So these are these three Adhikaras, which are very, very easy to remember because they go past, present, future. And Bhute starts from 3 to 84. Vartamane Lat, of course, is a famous sutram, so that starts the Vartamane Adhikaraha, and then Bhavishyati starts from 333. Bhavishyati starts from here. So now, right now, we are using so there is an overlap here in between the Upapadam, Tatrupapadam, Saptami, Stham, and these Adhikaras. So we have to be careful. So if we want to use Saptamyam Janerdaha, then we should not really be saying Jayate. We should say Jatam, Jataha, Athva Jata. So please change I think we should change in the book because, again, I have made this mistake myself, to be honest with you. I have made this mistake myself, not realizing that we are in the Bhute Adhikaraha. So saying, Sarasi Jayate is technically, it would not be correct. It should be Sarasi Jatam, or Sarasi Jayata, Sarasi Jayata. That which was born in the water. And if you look at the meaning, it makes sense, The lotus was born in water. It's not being born right now. It's not born. It was born in water. So that's you see, Panini puts these in the right place all the time. So it says, Sarasi Jatam. Sarasi Jatam Atva Ajayata. It becomes Sarojam. Same thing, Anda Jataha. Not Anda Jayate. Same thing, Agre Jataha, Agrajaha. In all these cases, it's obvious that someone was born. So in this case, born from an egg. This was, born earlier at an earlier time. So you're not your brother. This is, your elder brother was born before you. He's already been born. It's not like he's going to be born again now. So this is in the Bhute Adhikara. So please change all of these to Sarasi Jatam Atva Ajayata. Same thing, Anda Jataha, Agre Jataha. Yeah, so that's why, and as I said, I have made this mistake myself. So if you listen to any of the earlier classes, I think Raghuvamsha Kavyam we had this, and I said Jayate. Then I looked at the Tika, and it says Jatam. And I was wondering why it is said. Then it hit me that this is the Bhute Adhikara. So yeah, that's why it's always with respect to the commentators, because they have so much knowledge that they breathe this all day long. I mean, once in a while we trip, so try to follow what they are saying. And of course, you don't have to accept everything what they're saying. You have to check the Ashtadhyayi and the Vyakarana Shastram, but you should always check with what they're saying. So okay, and many of these words are given in the Amar Kosha. Amar Kosha has a nice commentary by Bhattoji's son Bhanuji Dikshitaha. So always check what he's saying, and then we can make sure we don't make these errors which I made in the class. Anyway, this sutram comes in the Bhute Adhikaraha, so please don't make that mistake again. So you should say Sarasi Jatam, Sarasi Ajayata. So Sarasi is the Saptamyantam, which say Upapadam. So we get one small complication here. We can have this Aluk Samasaha. In fact, that is good because so far we have not looked at this section of Aluk. We have not looked at this section of Aluk. It has been Aluk for us so far. So today we'll get a chance to look at that because the book, I think, has not given this as such. So anyway, let's first get the compound. So as usual, Upapadamating Tatropapadam Saptami Stham Saptamyam Janerdaha. Saptamyantam is Upapadam, then Dhatu Jan takes a Pratyaya Da is given over here. Now, usual steps, Anubandha Lopa by Chutu Tasya Lopaha. That's the first order of business is Anubandha Lopaha. So, I mean, you get a package at the door. Before you can use it, you have to remove the packing. So that's a simple thing, same thing here. So, chutu, tasya lopaha. And then what happens is that we get ti lopaha. Ti. Achuvantyadi ti. So that's T. This defines all the Sanya Sutrani. Also are very important, because they otherwise you use these Sanyas all the time, and then we don't know what they mean. We don't. Of course, this one we know. So let me show the Sanya Sutram for that. Achavantyadi T. So you start from the last ach of a term and go to the end of the term. Achavantyadi. So the Antya ach is the beginning of this. So that is the T bhagaha. So it starts with the ending vowel of the term and go to the end of the term. So that is what the T bhaga. So in the dhatu jan, there's only one ach, which is the akaraha, madhyavarti akaraha. So an is the T bhagaha. An is the T bhagaha. So we get T lopa. One problem here is that this sutram 64143, another adhikara, bhasya adhikara. So bhasya, the bhasanya only comes by swadishva sarvanamasthana yachibham. Bottom line is that we have to have a swadi pratyaya following. The swadi pratyayas, as we have mentioned many times in the class, start from 412 and go to the end of chapter 5, swavjas, which we use every day. So right now we're using 3297, so we are not in the adhikara of the swadi pratyaya. So how can we use the sutram tehe, which is in the adhikara of bhasya adhikara? But then what the Vyakhyanam says is that ditva samarthya, the bhasya piter lopaha, the fact that Panini has put the dakara as an it, tasya anyat prayojanam na sambhavati. There cannot be any other prayojanam for the dakara as an it except for ti lopaha. So ditva samarthyat, the fact that Panini has put dakara as an it, it signals that we should do ti lopaha, notwithstanding the fact that this angam does not have bhasanya. So it doesn't have bhasanya. You still do ti lopaha. Dit karana samarthya, ditva samarthya, abhasya pitir lavas. One more time, sutram tehe says that if angam has a bhasanya and if the pratyaya following is a dit pratyaya, has dakara as an it, then they take ti lopaha. Right now we cannot get bhasanya because bhasanya requires a pratyaya which is a swadi pratyaya, and those start from 412 to end of chapter 5. Sutram is 1418 yachibham. But we use the fact that dakara has been made an it by Panini. It has to have a prayojanam, and the only prayojanam can be ti lopaha. So we use the sutram tehe, we extend it to use it even in this case, dit karana samarthyat. So ti lopaha takes the anbhaga, goes away, ja, as usual, the samudaya gets the Pradipadika Sanya Krutita Samasascha and Supluk. We do that. And then what happens now is the Sakara, this gets the Padasanya. Saras gets Padasanya by Pratyaya Lope Pratyaya Lakshanam Supting Antam Padam. Because the Pratyaya Ni came and went, left the Lakshanam behind, so Pratyaya Lope Pratyaya Lakshanam Supting Antam Padam Sasajusho Ruhu. Remember, we cannot use Sasajusho Ruhu unless it's a Padanta Sakara. So we have to first establish that is padanta sakara. For that we need supting antam padam, but for that we need pratyaya lope pratyaya lakshanam. Pratyaya went away, but still left the lakshanam behind. So, and then we get of course hashicha and ad gunaha saroja. What is the secondary form here? Pakshe, secondary form, this sutram tatpurushe kriti bahulam. Okay, let's look at this adhikara now, which we have not seen in this book. I think it may not be given as a separate topic as such. This adhikara starts from 631. Aluguttara pade. In fact, that opens up this entire topic of 6.3, which we have mentioned many times, is that the something happens to the pura padam in a samasaha. That is the topic of 6.3, special operations which take place in the pura padam of a samasa, not to be confused with samasantaha. That topic starts from 5.4, which also we have seen in quite great detail in a lot of places. Samasantaha starts from 5.468. So those are special operations which happen at the end of a compound. These pratyas come at the end of the compound and they become part of the compound. That we have seen already. So that is at the end of the compound. While this one, 631, opens up an adhikara, aluguttara pade, uttara Uttarapade Sati. So when the so this is alugiti uttarapada iti Chetan adhikritam veditavyam. So all this is this alug and uttarapade. Uttarapade goes to number all the way down to 139, probably to the end of the I think chapter. Yeah, it takes the entire Padaha of the Ashtadhyaya, Uttarapade. Uttarapadam follows. Something is going to happen to the Purapadam. And the aluk goes up to 24, aluk. So this aluk samasas are basically from 631 to 6324. And as his Antoine Book, I don't think has given this as a special topic heading as such. But right now we are using that because, let's see, has he given that? Sorry, wrong page. He has given the form Sarojam only in the book, but you know there is the Sarasija is also a well-known form Sarasija that gives an opportunity to explore this adhikara, at least introduce ourselves to this adhikara. So tat purushe kriti bahulam. So tat purushe samase. Another adhikara. See how adhikara is so important. Every time we have an adhikara. So tat purusha means what is that? What is covered by tat purusha? And that is of course the adhikara of 2122 up to 2222, which is a nice way to remember it. 2122 2222 2122 up to 2222. Tat Purushaha. So what fish sutram are we using right now? We are using this special sutram which is towards the end of the adhikara, Upapadam Ating. Upapadam Ating is a Nitya Samasa also. Nityam comes from here. Nitya Samasa means Swapada Vigraham Nasti, Vigraha Vakyam na Sambhavati. We have to use some other words to express the Vigraha Vakyam. We cannot say Sarasi Jahayati, Sarasi Jahayati Sarojaha. We have to say Sarasi Jata iti Sarojaha. So these are also Nitya compounds, Nitya Samasaha. But more importantly, they are in the adhikara of Tat Purushaha, which starts from 2122. So we have to remember all these adhikaras very carefully. This is one thing we do in this class is always keep the Ashtadhyayi, because that is the Mula Shastra. That is the seva of Panini. Is always keep the Ashtadhyayi in front of your eyes. Almost very few people in the world do that today. Very few people in the world do that. Most people don't study Vyakaranam, and those who study, I mean, that's not this, I mean, of course, everybody has a limited amount of time, but those who study Vyakaranam also, say from an English book or maybe from Siddhanta Kaumudi at the most. Very few people go to the Ashtadhyayi and, you know, keep the adhikaras and the Ashtadhyayi kramaha in their mind. So you should attempt to do that, because Tatpurusha Adhikara, you say Tatpurushe. Now how do you know what Tatpurusha Samasa? Not, we have to know what Tatpurusha Adhikara is. So that will help us if we do that. So Tatpurushe Samase, Kudante Uttarapade. Uttarapadam should be a Kudantam. So that also we reminded ourselves earlier today that Adhikara of Kudating starts from 3193. So the Pratyaya Da we are using is from 3297. So clearly it's a Krut Pratyaya. Kudante Uttarapade. Saptamyaha Bahulam Aluk Bhavati. So in a variety of situations, the Saptam will take Aluk. It will not take, so this last step which we did over here, which is the Supluk, this one over here. Supo Dhatu Pradipadikayoho. Pratyagni, which is part of Tatpurusha Samasaha, because as we just mentioned, the Adhikara of Tatpurusha goes from 2122 up to 2222. Right now we're using 2219, and we also mentioned the Pratyaya Da, which is being prescribed by 3297, is in the Adhikara of Krudating, which starts from 3193 to end of chapter 3. So now all the conditions for applying this sutra have been satisfied. Tatpurushe Kritibahulam. So so this Pratyagni may not take Lopaha. So then we get the second form, which is Saras Ni plus Ja, Sarasija only we get, because that Ni does not take Lopaha. So maybe I should put here, so this, I mean, we still have the Pradipadika Sanya, that is fine. Krutadita Samasashta, that one still holds. Only thing is that this 2471 optionally does not apply. So it does not apply. So we don't get that, and we get just Sarasija from Sarasija. Okay, now this is only a small introduction to this Adhikara, but at least we got a chance to explore it a little bit. This Adhikara of Alug Uttarapade. There are some interesting sutram in this Adhikara. In fact, this sutram itself has some interesting example which you just used. Tatrushe Kriti Bahulam. So 6.3.14. I think words like Yudhishthiraha, all these words come from this sutram. Yudhishthiraha, one who's firm in battle. Yudhishthiraha. It should be here. Is it here? Bahule aluk bhavati ne luk Yudhishthira. Yes, the example is Siddhanta Kaumudi Sarasijam and Sarojam. For some reason I thought Yudhishthira came from the same sutram. Tatpurushe, let me see if I can. Oh no, I'm sorry. There is another sutra which is 6.3.9. Yudhishthira comes from that sutram. Saptami. It says Haladanta Saptamyaha Sanyayam. Saptamyaha. This one had Bahulam, but this one has a. Let's look at that one first. This is not in the book. Since we came to this section today, to get this 6.3.14 Tatpurushe Kriti Bahulam, let's just explore one more sutram here. Haladanta Saptamyaha. Haladantad Saptamyaha Sanyayam. So ending in. Let's look at 6.3.9. This is just a small digression. 6.3.9 says that Halantad Adantacha Saptamyaha Aluk Kante Kalaha Yudhishthiraha. So it says that there is a special sutram. I think it's 8.3.95. Now it's more digression now. I think 8.3.95. I think is a special sutram. We won't look at that in too much detail, but for Yudhishthiraha to get the Murdhanya Shakaraha, we need 8.3.95. So Gavi Yudhibhyam Sthiraha, that gives the Murdhanya Shakaraha. Anyway, that's too much for digression for us right now. But this Yudhishthiraha, so it's Haladanta Saptamyaha Sanyayam. So Hal Antad. So you got the Adantacha. So we have the Yud, Pradipadikam Yud. Yudhi is Saptami of Yud. It's Hal Antad. Haladantad. So Halantad Atva Adantad. Halantad Adantacha. Saptamyaha Aluk. It's Sanyayam. It has to be proper name of somebody. Sanyayam. Anyway, this is just another example of this sutram from this Adhikara. I don't know if we can come to this Adhikara again. Just want to give this opportunity to just explore a little bit of this Adhikara. So we saw two of them right now. One was the one which we just used, which is 6.3.14. 6.3.14. Tatpurushe Kriti Bahulam. Tatpurushe Kriti Bahulam. We saw that's for the example of Sarasija. We just saw Haladanta Saptamyaha Sanyayam Yudhishthira. That's not in the book. I think how about this one also? Atmane Padam Parasmai Padam. Atmane Padam Parasmai Padam. Now why did the Chaturthi not take look over here? This is a compound. So we should have had the supluk by supo dhatu pradipadikayoho. How about this one here? Vayyakaranakyayam Chaturthyaha. These technical grammatical terms. The Chaturthi can take a look. So 6.3.7. So bottom line is that if you see Aluk Samasa like that, you can come to this section of 6.3.1 to 6.3.24, which is not really, I don't think it's in this book, but we need that, and we can explore why, by which sutram we got that Aluk. So Vayyakarana Makhya Vayyakarana, so it's technical terms given by grammarians. Sanya, so Yaya Sanyaya Vayyakaranaha Eva Vyavaharanti. So so these are these grammatical terms which are used by grammarians. So Yaya Sanya Vayyakaranaha Eva Vyavaharanti, the typo here should be Vyavaharanti. Tasyam Atmane Uttarasyaha Chaturthya Aluk Bhavati. So Atmane Padam, Atmane Bhasha. So and then so that is the, so it says that I think the prior sutram, actually this one, I'm getting too deep into this now, but anyway, the prior sutram has the Atmanaha Anuvritti is coming there. So at least this one can be used to justify the Atmani. And then Parasyacha, there it is down here, Parasmai Padam. That's coming down here. So we can use this one to get the form Atmanepadam. We can use this Parasmanepadam. Okay, I think we'll exit Adhikara. Before we get too deep in Adhikara, let's exit here. But you got some flavor of this one. So 637, this is only for the word Atman Pradipadikam. So yaya sanya vayyakaranaha eva vyavaharanti. So these terms are used only by grammarians. Such terms so these sanyas. Tasyam atmanaha uttarasyaha chaturthyaha aluk atmanepadam. And then the next sutram 638, I think parasya 638 will be parasya ya chaturthi tasya vayyakaranakyayam alubhavati parasmai padam. And this is also parasmai bhasha. This is used in the dhatu patha. That this dhatu patha. So this dhatu is used in the with the parasipadam affix. So this comes in dhatu patha. Anyway, so this is the idea of this aluk. So one more time, adhikara of aluk uttarapade. Uttarapade goes apada samapte goes to the end of chapter 3. So that is something is happening to the end of to the purapadam of a compound, not to be confused with the adhikara of samasantaha. That starts from 5468. That has for the end of a samasa, and aluk goes up to 24. Just now we used 6314 tatpurusha kriti bahulam to get the form sarasija, because we had the tatpurusha compound, krut pratyaya at the end, and bahulam variously the saptami may or may not go away. So we got two forms, sarojam and sarasijam. We also refer to aladanta saptamyaha sanyaya to get the form yudhishthiraha, along with 8395 for the shatvam. Then we just refer to vayyakaranakyayam chaturthyaha and parasya to get the forms atmanepadam and parasmanepadam. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to where we were. So here we got the form sarasija. Similarly, agrejataha, one who's born at an earlier time, agrejata. We have saptamyantam as a upapadam, agrejata, agrajaha. Now Panchamyama Jato 3298 says that Panchamyante upapade jati varjite janer daf pratyabhavati. So when you have a Panchamyantam as the upapadam, but jati varjite should not be a jati, looks like a brahmana, kshatriya, should not be one of these. Janer daha pratyabhavati. Same, this part is the same. Anuvritti of janer daha is coming down. So anda jataha andajaha pakshi sarpova. Can be a bird, it can be a snake, something born from an egg, basically. So andajaha, steps are all the same. The only difference is we have panchamyantam here. We don't have saptamyantam. This is a condition of ajatao. Otherwise, nothing else is different. So saptamyam, janerdaha, panchamyam ajatao. So anda plus nyasi plus jan, same steps. In this case, only difference is that Panchamyama Jato is being used, Anubandha Lopa by Chututasya Lopaha, again T Lopaha by Ditkarana Samarthyat, Abhasyapi Ter Lopaha, T Lopaha. So these steps are all the same. And we get Andaja by the Supluk, Supodhatu Pradipadika Yoho. So that's called Andaja. So now we are in the book over here. We are in the book. So we got sarasija. Only thing is that you change this jai to jatam. Anda jayati, anda jatam. We got that. And we got agrejaha also. We got agrejaha. Okay. Let us look at now before we leave, you know what? Okay, let's go to the next part. It says advanam gacchati. Because I want to also look at this sutram 32101, because that is an extension rule. Atideshaha. And that's an important extension, because sometimes you will see the dhatu jan, or as a matter of fact, even another dhatu, taking the pratyaya da. Tadvidhayakam sutram nasti. Tadvidhayakam sutram nasti. You may not have a sutram to justify that form. But we can use 32101 as an extension to justify shishta prayogaha. To see, now why does Panini do this? Why does he give like these specific rules, saptamyam janirdaha, panchamyam jato, upasargit sanyayam, and then gives an extension? Then why not just give the extension in the first place and just say we don't need these rules then? Why do we need these rules then? because these extensions, like the entire Ashtadhyayi, this entire Vyakarana Shastram is for Shishta Prayoga Samarthanartham. So it's to justify the form which the scholars use. So we should not go and start making these forms, without having any Shishta Sammatihi. So what Panini means is that these are the Saptamya Vinirdaha and Panchamya Vinirdaha. These can be formed by us quite without worrying about is this a proper form or not. If Saptamya Upadam is there, we can use the Sutram to form Saptamya Vinirdaha, and this we can do. But this one, Anyeshvapi Drishyate, these extended forms, we have to be careful. These extended forms, we should not just start making them up. They have to be as per the scholarly usage. So that is why Panini does give these forms which we can form, as long as these conditions are satisfied. But these special extension forms, we have to be careful. We accept them from the scholars and we use them, with some caution. That is that. So that is. Otherwise, you may be wondering what's the point of giving these 4 rules, then extending. And then we don't need these 4 rules. That's not the case. That's not the case, because these are the well-known forms, and we have the authority to form these forms, no problem. But when we start extending, we have to be cautious, is what Panini is telling us. So we want to look at Sutram 3.2.101 today, Anyeshvapi Drishyate. But let's hold off on that for 1 second, because we want to include this next one also in that. So let's look at the next Sutram here, which is this one, 3.2.48. Jumping to 3.2.48. We're going to look at this dhatu gamrigatau. Of course, well, prasidh dhatu gacchati ityadi. So 3.2.48, we have anuvritti is coming of gamascha. So antatyantadva durapara sarvananteshu. Look at saptamyantam, saptami bahuvachanam. So eteshu upapadeshu. So when these are in upapadam, when one of these is the upapadam, then we can the dhatu gam is the pratyaya da. Even without looking at the vritti now, we should be able to look at the sutram and get a good meaning out of it, because we are in the adhikara one more time of tatra upapadam saptamistham. We cannot overemphasize the importance of these adhikaras. I mean, it's obvious, isn't it? Because if we have a topic heading, we have to know which topic we are in before we can look at the sutram. So vritti says that we antatyantadva durapara sarvananteshu daha. Anta atyanta advan durapara sarva anta. So these are these. So one of these has to be upadam. Iti eteshu karma supapadeshu. And karma, that anuvritti of karmanyan from way back, that is going up to 50. Let me check. I think it goes up to 58 or something. That karmanyan, anuvritti of karmani. Anuvritti of karmani goes from 3 to 1 up to 50 something. Let me just double check. Up to 56, I think it goes. So that karmani, so karma supapadeshu. There is another condition here. Karma supapadeshu. Gamer da pratyabhavati. This pratyaya is same, da only is here, but it is dhatu gam will take pratyaya, and one of these is the object of the going. So advanam gacchati advagaha. So one who goes on the road, one who goes, I guess this is, in Sanskritam it is the karma, but I guess in English we say one who goes on the road, one who travels basically. One who goes along the road. So advanam gacchati advakaha, traveler. So advan is pratpadikam, is the dvitiya ekavachanam, dhatu gam plus da. Steps are all the same, so prakriya bheda nasti. So upapadam ating, tatra upapadam saptamistham is the adhikaraha. Then antatyanta dva durapara sarvananteshu daha. The pratyavika, we do have the pratyavika advan over here. Anubandha lopa chututasya lopaha. Then ditkarana samarthya dabhasyapi ter lopaha. Ditkarana samarthya dabhasyapi ter lopaha. Ambhaga takes lopaha achontyadi t, and we get ga plus we get advan and Advan plus ga we have, actually Advan plus ga, then the samudaya gets the pratipadika sanya kritrita samasascha, and we get supodhatu pratipadika supluk. Just as before, we get pratyay lope pratyay lakshanam suptingantam padam, pratyay lope pratyay lakshanam suptingantam padam. This Advan gets the pratipadika, padasanya suptingantam padam, even though the came at, has taken look illusion, it leaves lakshanam behind. So then we get na lopaha pradipadikantasya, na lopaha pradipadikantasya, advaga. The steps were very similar, only thing we got the na lopaha, nakar lopaha by na lopa pradipadikantasya. Now, okay, let's go to the book for a second. Let's see where we are. So we got the form advanam gacchati advagaha. Now, how can we get the form ke gacchati? Because khagaha is a bird, could be devahapi, so one who goes in the air, one who travels in the air, could be anything, could be a plane, could be a bird, could be a divine being, something like that. But we cannot use this sutram as it stands, because it only allows us to use pratyada with anta, atyanta, advan, dura, para, sarva, ananta. We don't have that. Then what we do is that here's another extension. Same idea is that Panini's, that what the Vrittikara says, that we can extend this to say da prakarane anyeshvapi drishyate. Let's look at these two. Okay, let's look at this Vartikam on 3. That's why we didn't look at 32101 before, because I want to tie in this Vartikam into that one. Okay, let's not get confused. This 3248 is for the dhatu gam. Okay, so this 3248 for dhatu anuvritti of gamashcha is coming down. So this is for dhatu gam. The one which you saw before 3297 to 101, that was for dhatu jan. But there is an overlap here. There is an overlap because of the extensions which are being done. And there is an overlap comes. Okay, let's look at that. So we are trying to form the form khagaha. Khagaha cannot be formed by the rules as they are, because this is for dhatu gam, but it doesn't have this kha as upapadam is authorized. This one is for dhatu jan, so we cannot use that either. Of course, we don't have dhatu jan. With dhatu gam we have. So then, how do we extend? Then there are two ways to do this. One is that we can use Vartikam on 3248. It says da prakarane anyeshvapi drishyate. So anyeshvapi upapadeshu drishyate. So gamer daha pratyaya drishyate. So when even some other upapadas, not just these, not these ones which are given here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Besides these 7, there could be some others also, which we can, again the same logic is that we should not just blindly go and start forming these forms. We have to, so these we can form happily. Others we have to be a bit careful. But the Vartikakara says that there may be some other forms. So now we can form the word khagaha by using the okay, let's Gita time out. Kham mano buddhire vacha comes in Gita. Kham mano buddh. Always keep the Gita playing at the back of your mind at all times. So Gita time out. Kham mano buddhire vacha. I think chapter 7 maybe. Ahankara, I think chapter 7. Ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakritirashtadha aparemitastanyam prakriti vidhime param. Yeah, kham. This kha is this part. Kham means akasha. Akasha means a void. It's an empty space or a hole or a void. So, or it could be the sky. So kham comes in there. Anyway, so that is in Gita. The Pratipadikam kha is used in Gita. So what we could do is that we could use this Vartikam da prakarane anyeshvapi drishyate. But athva, there could be one more way out. Now, because this is a Vartikam, as far as possible, try to use a sutram. Don't go to a Vartikam, unless if the sutra only, we can only go to Vartikam yadi sutrena siddhir nasyat. Only if you cannot form by sutra, then we go to Vartikam. So now here we have a sutra of Panini which says anyeshvapi drishyate. This is for the dhatu jan, number 32101. So why are we going there? Because the Vyakhyanam says api shabdaha, this api means also. So this dhatu gam can take the pratyaya da. Sorry, excuse me, one more time. This dhatu jan, because this is 32101. Okay, this is for gam, this is for jan. So dhatu jan can take the pratyaya da, even when some other upapadas are there. Not only saptamyam and panchamyam, jato, others also are there. So, but then still we are stuck with the dhatu jan only. We want to form the word khagaha. But then the Vyakhya, see, the Vrittikara says that api shabdaha, this api also, we can allow us to further extend it to other dhatus also. So, api shabdaha, sarvopadi vyabhichararthaha, sarvopadi vyabhichararthaha. So we can loosen all the conditions. All the conditions can be violated. Again, as per the Shishta Prayoga. So we can extend this pratyaya da to not only the dhatu jan taking other upapadas, but to another dhatu also we can now extend it. So api shabdaha sarvopadhi vyabhichararthaha tena dhatvantaradapi bhavati. Dhatvantaradapi bhavati. So anyasmat dhatu api bhavati. So another dhatu also can take, we can take a pratyaya. So if we cannot find a sutram and some dhatu has taken the pratyaya da in the upapada samasaha, remember this vartikam, which is that dhatvantaradapi bhavati, and of course karakantareshvapi bhavati kvachit. Karakantareshvapi kvachit. So it can not only saptami, not only panchami, but it could be another karaka also. And it could be another dhatu also. So then if that's the case, we don't need this vartikam. Because if we have the authority to use a pratyaya da with another dhatu, then we don't need this, and another karaka also. Then we don't need this one. So this Tattvabodhini says, the Tattvabodhini commentary. I like this commentary a lot because, as you know, Bhattacharya Dikshita revolutionized the entire Vyakarana Shastram. And then that's Siddhanta Kaumudi. I mean, of course, he wrote a lot of other books also. It's amazing how these people write all these, like, I don't know, tens of, 20 scores of these books in a lifetime. It is beyond me. We cannot get the Antoine Book. It took 8 years to do it, and these people write. Anyway, so Bhattacharya wrote these amazing books. I mean, Siddhanta Kaumudi is definitely the most popular. That's not the only one that he wrote. And the Siddhanta Kaumudi has a very authoritative commentary, Tattvabodhini. Tattvabodhini, Kashika is becoming old for us. They have been a little bit improvements, some changes, over 1,000, it's almost 1,000 years have gone. So Tattvabodhini is a good, if you want to take an authority, of course, the final authority is Mahabhashyam all the time. Nothing supersedes that. That's where the buck stops. Nothing goes beyond the Mahabhashyam. Only problem is the Mahabhashyam is not black and white. It passes many opinions in many different situations. So unless you are really an expert in the Mahabhashyam, you cannot fathom the Mahabhashyam. So that's why we have to take one step lower. And that, Siddhanta Kaumudi is brief. It is very precise. It is brief. So we cannot get all the answers there. So Tattvabodhini commentary is the next step. And in this context, Tattvabodhini says, Yattu antatyanta dhva iti prakarane anyatrapi drishdes. And these vartikams can have a different wording. You always caution yourself. The vartikam can have a different wording and slightly different wording. Patabhedaha sambhavanti. So, patho vidyate. There will be a patabhedaha. So here the vartikam anyatra api drishyate. When Kashika it is given is that the prakarane anyeshvapi drishyate. So anyway, what he's saying is that iti prakarane anyatra api drishyate iti upasankhyatam tad bhutakalam vinapi yatha syat. Okay, but now there's a catch over here. He says that why do we need this vartikam under 3248? We just said we can just use this api padam to do the sarvopadhi vyabhicharartham apipadam. Then why do we need this one? Because we already took it out. We said then wait a minute, but no, we might still need that. Because tad bhutakalam vina api yatha syat. As I cautioned in the beginning is a mistake which I have made, which I have also made, which we have in the book also, is this, the adhikara bhute starts from 3 to 84. So we have to watch out now that even though this anyeshvapi drishyate is there, we are still stuck in the bhute adhikaraha. So what Tattvabodhini is saying is that maybe this vartikam, this one here I should say, which is under 3248, is still required to get bhuta kalam vinapi yathasyat. Even in the non-past tense, we can use that. But then he says ityam artham. But then he goes on to say vastutaha tu, but actually as a matter of fact, vastutaha tu, prakrita sutrasthasya apigrahanasya sarvopadi vyabhichararthatvat tadvartikam anenaiva gatartham. Gatartham means it is redundant. Redundant is useless. So gataha arthaha yasya tat vartikam. So the vartikam which is not required, its purpose is already fulfilled by something else. Its purpose is gone. So gataha arthaha. So vastutaha tu, because in reality, if you are going to say that api is going to be used for sarvopadi vyabhichararthatvat, tad vartikam anenaiva. Anenaiva means by this api shabda grahanena gatartham. So bottom line is that just that we can use api shabdaha to make all kinds of extensions. So not only the dhatu jan, but any other dhatu. Not only the karaka of the adhikarane or the apadana karaka, that saptamyam, panchamyam, we can say karakantareshwapi. Not only that, we can say not only bhute, bhuta kalam vinapi. So we can extend this. All these are being done to justify the usage of the scholars, what they use. So one more time, there are these two vartike. One is under 3248. That is reserved for dhatu gam. That is not in the bhute adhikaraha. That says ja prakarane anyeshvapi drishyate. But what we realize is that this api shabdaha, which is in the sutram, not vartikam but sutram, as far as possible try to use the sutram. 32101, the Vyakhyanam says is that sarvopadi vyabhichararthaha. So by that we can say not only dhatu jan, anyas dhatvantaradapi bhavati, bhuta kalam vinapi bhavati, karakantareshvapi bhavati. So all the relaxed. So we can now justify a word like khagaha by khe gacchati di khagaha. The steps are all the same, because see, we have a saptamyantam, but we don't have the dhatu jan. This is not bhute. This is not bhute. Clearly somebody is going in the sky right now. It's not like somebody was born earlier. That is bhute. Like we said in the beginning of this topic, we already said we have to change the book. This has to be jatam, jata, jataha. But this one is not. Khaga is not like that. So this one is khe gacchati. It's not, khe gataha. Or khe gacchata. It's khe gacchati. So bhuta kalam vinapi. We can do bhuta kalam vinapi. And dhatvantaradapi. So these are these two extensions. You get the form. The steps are all the same. The steps for getting the form are the same, because you can get kha plus mi plus gam plus pratyaya da, and all the steps will be the same. As what we're given here. Same steps. So but we use this api shabdaha. So remember this sutram. That's why I told you, 32101. If you have the pratyaya da and you are not able to find a sutram to justify that one upasamasaha, you can always come to anyeshvapi drishyate, and is the api shabdaha sarvopadi vyabhichararthaha. Okay, I think we've dealt enough on that. So that is these are two rules. C2101 is the most important extension here. Now the next form in the book which is given is the form. We also make a correction in the book, please. It says moving easily. That's not the form sukhena gacchati. Sukhena gacchati asmin. So it is a place, or it's maybe a situation where you can easily go, in which you can go easily in that. So the su and dur, they are used like durgaha, durgam, so which is difficult to go in, difficult to enter, difficult to go in, or easy to go in, so move around in that. So this is not one who moves easily, but this is a qualifying something like a place, or could be a situation in which it's easy to go in or it's hard to go in. There is this another Vartikam. This Vartikam, this is a specific Vartikam on 3 to 48. Suduror Adhikarane. Su and Dur. Suduror Adhikarane. So what happens is that when you have this, look again the Saptami Dvivachanam. So Tatrapadam Saptami Stam, even though it's a Vartikam, doesn't matter. One more thing, if a Vartikam comes from the Adhikaraha, it also obeys the Adhikara. So it doesn't overrule. So Adhikara includes not only Sutram but Vartikani api. Adhikaranusarena, according to Adhikaranusarena. So Suduror is Saptami Dvivachanam. So when Su or Dur is the Upapadam, Adhikarane, but so this is in the sense of, Sukhena Gachanti Asmin. It is Sugaha. Suduro Adhikarane. So this is the Vartikam on 3 to 48. So it is not somebody who moves easily, but it is that in which we can go in easily. So let's see what meaning is given by Vasu for Vartikam 3 to 48. 3 to 48. Let me just read out the meaning. 3 to 48. 3 to 48 says that. So also with the word Su, which is well, and Dur, which is bad, when the resulting words denote location as Sugaha, that in which one goes easily, basically easy of access. Durgaha, difficult to access. That is the thing. So this is so with the word Su and Dur as Upapadam, when the resulting word denote location. So that is what it is. So this Vartikam is used Sukhena Gacchati Asmin iti Sugaha and Dukkhena Gacchati iti Durgaha. It's a place. Okay, so I mean it's an adjective, so you can say, so it can be adjective. So what is qualifying? So that is the gist of this one. I think we have covered this one now in quite detail. Pratyaya Da, which we saw 3 to 48. We saw Dhatu Gam, that was for. We saw the Vartikam on that also. We also saw 3 to 97 to 101, which was Dhatu Jan. But we used 101, the Apishabdha, to make the extension. So we got all these forms. Okay, so let's see what is coming in the next. Yeah, I already gave the correction over here. I give the correction here also. Okay, let's go to the next one. The Pratyak Quip says the whole affix is Anubandha. Technically, this is not correct, because what happens in the Quip Pratyaha, of course, we get Lashakvatadite, Upadesha Jananasika, we get Halantyam, but the Vakara remains behind. That Vakara is not an it letter. So this you can also make correction in the book, please. The entire, it was called Sarva Apahara Lopaha. Sarva Apahara Lopaha. Apahara means everything is removed by Lopaha. But it doesn't mean everything is the it son. You'll be a little bit careful. There's a small technical difference here. So what he means is that everything goes away, but it's not an Anubandha. It is not an it, because Anubandha means it letters, and it letters means Anubandha. Comes in Gita. Anubandham kshayam himsa manavekshacha paurusham. Chapter 18 of Gita. Gita means anything which is extended. Repercussions, after effects. Something which is joined. Anubandha. Anyway, so Anubandha means it has to be in this section, which starts with the Upadeshe Jananaska it Halantyam up to here, Tasya Lopaha. But Verabhuktasya is 6167. That is not by Tasya Lopaha. That is the specific sutram, the Vakara of V, when it is Aprukta Ekal Pratyaha, single letter Pratyaha, then it takes Lopaha. So make a small correction. We know what Antoine means is that he means that there will be the Sarvapahara Lopaha. Sarvapahara Lopaha. Sarvesham Itsanya Nasti. They don't have Itsanya. Vakarasya Itsanya Nasti. Vakarasya Lopa Jayate. Lopo Jayate. Parantu Tasya Itsanya Nasti. Okay, let's take an example here. Says, this is also one more correction. Sorry, we have a lot of correction today. This is also a correction. This is also technically not a correct form. Let's derive this word Parishad. Okay, let's look at the word Parishad. Let's go to this one. Okay, the sutram here is that the Vigrahavakyam is paritaha. Sidan, let me just put one thing. Give me 1 second, please. Okay, the same section. Okay. Paritaha sidanti asyam iti parishad. Parishad. So this is a feminine noun now. This is a feminine noun. Feminine noun. And then, so this is not, the Upapada Samasa section. We're going to a completely different section now. Remember one thing, this parishad is a noun. So far, when we derived all of the, like sugaha, suga, khagaha, all of these, these are all mostly adjectives. But this parishad, now we are forming a feminine noun from the adhikara of the striyam ktin. So any feminine noun, as a default, in fact, good we got this section because we have not really seen this section for a while. 3394 is the adhikara of striyam ktin. So if you want to form a noun in the feminine, the pratyaya ktin should be used after the dhatu. What is the vartikam on that? 3394, and it says that the dhatu is shadr visharana gatyavasadhaneshu, like Arjuna Vishada Yoga, right? Arjuna, so sad can mean the English word sit, sediment. All these words might come with dhatu. This dhatu, shadr, means to visharana, to kind of wear off, I think, to go, I think basically to sink, to sit, to go down, like, also avasadhaneshu, to be depressed. So these are the just see what apte gives, but it has variety of meanings, but it kind of means to go down, to sit down, to feel depressed, so these are the various meanings dhatu sad. So this, okay, let's see quickly what apte gives for this one. Dhatu sad. To sit down, to lie down, to sink down, to plunge, also to live, to dwell, to be dejected or low-spirited, to despond. Anyway, these are all the meanings of dhatu sad. So, but here means parisad is to sit around, in assembly, to sit around. So, parisidanti asyam iti parishad. Okay, so we saw this dhatu. This is in the bhavadigana, is also in the tudadigana. This is vartikam. It says sampadadibhya quip. The special dhatu pasarga combinations take this pratyaya quip to form a feminine noun. So this vartikam is coming in 3394. Now anuvritti of, we're going to see this section in detail in the next page of this book. So we'll just give a small introduction here. So this adhikara, important adhikara, I said to you many times, just because you see, just because we were able to derive the form parishad, doesn't mean kasmin arthe prayuktoyam pratyaha. In what meaning is pratyaya being used? You have to be very careful, because the meaning in the book actually, I don't think it's going to work over here. It's not parisi. It is not what's given in the book. We have to change that. Even though it looks like it might work, but that's not the meaning of you'll not get assembly. So one who sits around is not the assembly. So we have to be careful. And particularly the pratyaya quip is prescribed in, we had this one thing I should mention right away. Pratyaya quip is prescribed in a variety of situations. In a variety of situations. So we have to be really careful. This quip is okay, we got the form maybe, but what is the meaning of this word? What's the meaning of this word? So now I said to you, we're going to look at this section in the next page of this book. So let's hold off going into too many details right now. It says this anuvritti of bhave. Bhavaha means to express the meaning of a particular verb, the intent of the verb, the purport of the verb. So that means it's that's called bhava. In English, abstract noun. So so krud is to be angry, krodha is anger. Like that, abstract, express the meaning of the noun. So these pratyaya, which are going to be coming from this adhikara of bhave, from then that goes from 3318, it also includes, so there are a bunch of masculine nouns being formed over here, but then adhikara also goes down to striyam adhikara, striyam then. It only ends at this one, 33112, but that's not what we have right now, do we? Parishad assembly doesn't mean sitting around. That's not the meaning of parishad. Parishad means, as we just saw, it means that paritaha sidanti asyam ti parishad. So that in which, it's a place, it's an area or a room, whatever, in a hall, sabhayam, it's a sabha in which people sit around. So how do we get that meaning? Because I just told you adhikara of bhave. So that it doesn't give the place, it will give the meaning like, of sitting around, just the action, not the, okay, I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
The word Upanishad is also similar.
Yes, Upanishad also. Upanishad also is similar. So we'll come to that in a second. I'll come to Upanishad in a second. Correct. Upanishad, yes, very similar. Also same dhatu, Upanishad. Okay, let's look at this one. Yeah, good. I'll look at that one also second. So, okay. So now, but the next Uttam 3.3.19, akartricha karake sanyayam. So not only in bhave, but in any karaka except kartari. So parishad. So in this adhikara, if you form this, in this we only talk about this adhikara, which goes from 3.3.18.19 now up to 3.3.1.1.12. So in this adhikara, if you form a word, it will not be the doer of that action. Now remember that we just saw earlier in the day today kartari krit, right? Kartari krit. We saw the adhikaraha. So any krit pratyaha is kartari, the doer of the action. We also mentioned that there is apavada tayoreva krityakta kalarthaha. All these potential participles, the pratyakta, the so-called past passive participle, as well as the pratyakal, and those in the meaning of kal, they only go in the passive. Tayoreva bhava karmanoho eva. Now we are seeing an important apavada for this in this adhikara. This entire adhikara starts from 3.3.18. Bhave and akartari chakarake sanyaya. So kartari krit is being set aside now. So these pratyas in this adhikara can be used in any karaka. So that's, let's say sitting, that by which you sit, that in which you sit, So this can be used, so that from which, by which, in which this can be used, but cannot be the one who sits. Not the doer of the action, can be in the meaning any other karaka. In the next page of this book, we'll look at this adhikara in detail because we're going to see the pratyaya, this pratyaya ghani. In the next page of the book, we're going to see this pratyaya. So let's leave this one for today with the basic understanding. The pratyayas from 3.3.18 up to that 3.3.1.1.2, they can of course be bhave to form an abstract noun. They can also be in the sense of any karaka except the kartari, So that is the meaning of this. Now let us, so right now what do we have? We have the paritaha sidanti asyam. So though that in which people sit around, it's a place people sit on. That's the assembly, parishad. Now once we have that, then we use this vartikam sampadadibhya quip in the striya anivritti of akartari chakarake sanyayam is coming down. So then the formation is straightforward. There's nothing in deriving the form. The important thing is to understand what meaning this is in. Once we add quip, then we just talked about that. First of all, shadlur means we do the dhatva deshasaha, sakara deshaha, and then we do the upadeshe jananasikait, and then we use this vartikam to get the pratyaya. Quip, these special words which can form feminine nouns by taking this pratyaya quip. Now, like sampad, vipad, apad, these are all, doesn't preclude the thin. The thin also might come. Sampatti, apatti, vipatti. But quip also may be used in certain cases. So this is one of them. Parishad is one of them. So parishad plus quip is vartikam, and then sarvapahar lopaha by lashakvatadite halantyam upadesha jananasikayet, then vera pruktasya. This is not an it letter, it takes lopaha, aprukta ekal pratyaha, because the vakara remains behind alone, so that takes also lopaha. And then we just have this sutram sadira pratehe, Saditi shashtyarthe pratama. So pratibhinnat upasargat apratehe. This is for, you can look at the number here, 8366. So this is the adhikara of the mudhanya adesha. So we have used this sutra many times. Adesha pratyayayoho, adesha pratyayayoho. We also use shasi vasi gasinancha. You now sadira pratehe, apratehe. So pratibhinnad upasargat. So following any other upasarga except prati. Sadehe sasya shasyat. So of course the anuvrutti of this inkoho is coming down. So we have the nimittam is the ikaraha, right? But so this sutram says that pratibhinnad upasargat. But this says that when prati is there, we cannot do shattam. Any other upasarga is there, and shattam is allowed. So we can because here we have pari, we don't have prati, we have pari. So we can form the mudanya shakara desha. So parishad, it becomes parishad. Sadira pratehe. So one more time, this sutram, this vartikam sampadadibhya quip, it is not a upapada samasa. In this case, it is a silinga pradipadikam which is formed in the adhikarane karake. He says akartija karake sanyayam is adhikara coming down. So paritaha siddhanti asyam iti parishad. So the word is formed like that. Now since Nagaraji brought up, let's look at Upanishad. Let's see what Bhanuji says. Now Upanishad comes in the Amar Kosha. So we can go there and see what Bhanuji Dikshita has to say. So it's page 413, number 93. Let me read out what he says. Or respect these scholars, respect the scholars, what they have done, because they are much more knowledgeable, and they not only that, they also discuss with many other scholars before they say anything. Not to mention the Ashtadhyayi also, Upanishad. Let me see, Upanishad. Give me 1 second. For this book I have some wrong page numbers. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me find Upanishad. Upanishad 41393 is probably yeah, this is a good book, but this book I'm having. Okay, there's also a nice Amar Kosha. In fact, this happened to me. There's a nice Amar Kosha also published by the Adyar Library in South India. It is a nice Amar Kosha. It is well edited by this Professor Ramanathan. Adyar Library. It's a 3-volume set, and but that does not have Bhanuji's commentary. It has some South Indian commentary, which are also good, but they don't give the sutra so much as Bhanuji does. So I like Bhanuji's better, but if you want to use the Ashtadhyayi, but it's a good 35393. Okay, it is shloka number 93 in the Amar Kosha, I think in the last section. Okay, let me find it for you. Let me find the book for you. Okay, 1 second. Okay, 35393. Upanishad. Okay, Dharme Rahasya Upanishad. Okay, Dharme Rahasya Upanishad. Okay, good. So Amar Kosha has a special verse for Upanishad. Where is that? Okay, Dharme Rahasya Upanishad. Upanishadanam. Upanishidati Shreyo Asyam Va. Shadru Vishranado Sampadadi. So he's looking at the same, one of the ways he's deriving that, the same Vartikam. Sampadadibhya Quip. So he says, first he says Upanishadanam, means just sitting, sitting close to a teacher. But they say Upanishad is the sense of the text. So Upanishidati Shreyo Asyam, Rasyam Asyam Itiva. So that in which, something really good, or, something very beneficial, or something profound resides in that. So that in which, so again, so now we can use the same logic which we used over here. So we can use upa ni shidati. We can supply something. Shreyaha, you know, dharmaha, rahasyam, tattvam, brahmajnanam, asyam iti upanishad. So that in which it resides. The steps are the same. The steps will be the same. The same one form. So that's the way to form it. Okay. Good. So that's another example. So this one way to form that is upanishidati sheyo asyam va. Same vartikam he used sampadadibhya quip. Okay. Now the next quip which is given in the book is a different quip. As I mentioned, this quip is used in a variety of ways. The next quip is given is the example. It says mitram dveshti iti mitra dvitta. One who hates, basically an enemy. So deva dvish is basically asuraha, one who hates the gods. So it can have different forms. So this dhatu dvish is used as the in a upapada samasa. Let's look at the sutram here. It's also a famous sutram. It says that sat su dvisha druha. Here we have the word dvisha over here. Okay. So sat. Let me highlight this. Okay. Sat su. These are all dhatus. Sat su dvisha druha duha yuja vida bhida chida ji ni raja upasargya pi quip. So ebhya dhatubhya quip syad upasarge satya sati. So they can be upasarga, may not be there also. Okay, look at the number 3 to 61. So very much in the adhikara of this upapadam, I think. Upapadam, sorry. Tatra upapadam saptamistham. So 3192. So upasarge api. So this is, upasarge api. It says, ebhya quip syad upasarge satya sati cha, but supyupapade. Sup has to be in upapadam. So there has to be a sup in upapadam. There may or may not be an upasargaha. There may or may not be an upasargaha. So that is what is said here. So one more time, these dhatus, which is sat, satsu, dvisha, druha. So all these dhatus, they can take the pratyaya quip, but in when a sup is an upapadam, but not may or may not be with an upasarga as upapadam. So the example that we have, so sat, su, dvisha, druha, duha, yuja, vida, bhida, chida, ji, ni, raja. These. If you look at the Kashika quickly, this is 3261. 3261. This prescribes quip in upapada samasaha. Let's see what he says. Vidajnane vida upasarganam. So what example is good? Upasad. Sad. I think the same dhatu which we just saw. Dhatu sad. Suchi sad. Antariksha sad. So this is the same dhatu which we saw. Dhatu shadru. But here comes another one. We're reading right now is a dhatu. This also goes to show that a dhatu may take different pratyas also. For that one, we were forming a feminine noun. Be careful. This is an adjective we are forming now. Right now between dhatu dvisha, even though the same dhatu shadru is in the sutram also. Right now we're looking at the dhatu dvisha. Okay, so mitram dveshtiti mitra dvit. Otherwise the formation is straightforward. Dvisha aprita, not to like them, to hate somebody, sense of hating. So mitra plus dvish plus quip. So anupasarge api. Upasarge api. So upasarge satya satija. Upasarga may be there, may not be there. So in this case we don't have it. And any sup can be upapadam. In this case we have a karma upapadam. Karmanya upapade we have. So mitra plus dvish. The same thing there. Sarvapahar lopaha. Lashak patadite halantyam upadeshe jananasikait. Sarvesham lopaha. And then verapuktasya apukta ekal pratyaha. And the samudaya gets the pratipadika sanya krutta is the samasascha supluk supodhatu pratipadika yoho. So we get mitra dvish as the pratipadikam. We decline that mitra dvish plus su. So just anubandha lopaha upadesha jananasika it. Then comes hanya bhyo dirgha sutisya pruktam hal. The sakara goes away. And we get pratyaya lopi pratyaya lakshanam suptingantam padam. Then we get jalam jashwante. Let's not forget the sandhi rules. Jalam jashwante, mitra dvid. Then vavasane, mitra dvit, mitra dvid, mitra dvit, mitra dvid. I mean, all this entire formation was straightforward. Only the quip takes sarvapaha, lopaha. Then we get, the declension of that. We get jalam jashwante and vavasane. But sutram here again one more time is 3261. It says sat, su, dvisha, druha, duha, yuja, vida, vida, chida, ji, ni, rajam, upasarge, pi, quip, ebhya, dhatubhya, quip, syat, upasarge, satya, saticha, but supyapapade. And I think next time happened in the book also same thing. Dharmam veti iti dharma vit. The dhatu vida is in the same sutram. Here we vidajnane. That dhatu vida includes dhatus from 2-3 ganas. So vidajnane is the one that we use from vidajnane. So this is dhatu is in the adadi ganaha vidajnane. So in the sense of knowing dharmam veti iti dharma vit. Dharmavid, dharmavid. Same thing, shatrun jayati shatrujit. So this is all the same sutra because the dhatu G is also in this sutra. So G is here. Maybe I should highlight these. G is here. Vida is here. Vida is here. That's also here. Steps are all the same. So shatrun jayati shatrujit. So G abhibhave. Okay, now one little caution, interesting tidbit over here is dhatu G is in use in 2 senses. One to be victorious, that's akarmaka dhatu, and one to conquer somebody else, sakarmaka dhatu. Now, long time back, in one of the classes, somebody asked me the question. I think when we have this Dyuta Prasangaha, the gambling episode, Mahabharatam, the gambling episode, Lajjaspadam, it's a shameful thing. But anyway, that time I think who's that Shakuni, after every time he wins around with Yudhishthira, he says, Aham jitaha, aham jitaha. And somebody in the class asked me, if dhatu G is to conquer, then aham jitaha means I am conquered, I lost. But of course he won. I mean, you know the story. He won. He wins the game. The Pandavas have to go into exile and all that. So then, how is he saying aham jitaha, aham jitaha? Then I was thinking about that. I said there must be some way, because this, if you see this, see right now this is completely out of context. Right now we're talking about this dhatu G and kartari kris. So right now there's no problem. But I'm just saying this dhatu G comes in 2 varieties. One is a sakarmaka dhatu. One is a akarmaka dhatu. And here, which we have a karma as the upapadam here, shatrun jayati, we want to use the sakarmaka dhatu. Of course, because we have the karma as upapadam. So, if you use sakarmaka dhatu, akarmaka, like you say, tishtati, I'm saying aham sthitaha, means I'm standing here. Balakaha suptaha, he's sleeping. He's not being slept on. He's the doer of the action. Because when you say, again, sorry for the digression here, I remember that question that was asked, I just giving you this interesting thing. By 3472, we are able to say that gatyartha akarmaka dhatu, this pratyakta will be kartari. So sthitaha means one who's standing, suptaha one who's sleeping, not one who slept on or standing on. It's not possible. So then there must be a dhatu G. They probably, not must be, but there should be a dhatu G, akarmaka, and surely there is. In fact, let me quickly read you from this in the dhatu vritti of Madhavaha, which is the authority on dhatu patha. Of course, Siddhanta Kaumudi also is there, but the dhatu patha, if you know anything about any dhatu, always, in fact, even this sutra which you're talking about right now, because this is the, anything with dhatu adhikara. In fact, not only that, he gives a lot more beyond dhatu adhikara also. Always respect the dhatu vritti of Madhavaha. Dhatu vritti should be in your hand. So there he lists 2 dhatus. He says G jaye and G abhibhave. Both are in the bhavadiganaha. G jaye and G abhibhave. Both are in the bhavadiganaha. They're 2 different numbers. Let me quickly go there and look and read you one sentence from there. Right now we want to use one of them, not the other, because one of them is akarmaka. So that's how when Shakuni says aham jitaha, means I am victorious, Not that I've been conquered, but I'm victorious myself. So basically means I won. So let me give you this number. It is this book by the Ramlal Kapoor Trust book. I'm on page one is on page 332. One is on page 191. Right now we want the one on page 332, which is the Abhibhave. Abhibhavaha means to kind of put down, to conquer, to win over somebody. So Abhibhave says that, and the other one is G Jaye in 191. G Jaye 191. I think he makes a comment. Let me read this out to you quickly. 191 is that Iha under G Jaye, which is the first one in the Dhatu Patha. The G Jaye comes earlier, and the G Abhibhave comes later. So the Akarmaka one comes earlier. There he says, Iha Jaye Utkarsha Praptihi. Means to be Utkarsha. Utkarsha means like excellence, to gain excellence, basically to win, to be victorious. Utkarsha Praptihi iti Akarmakoyam. Yaha tu agre Abhibhavaarthaha sa sakarmakaha. So one more time, this G J in Dhatu Patha. It is Utkarsha Praptihi iti akarmakoyam dhatuho. This akarmakaha. But the one which comes later, which is the G Abhibhave, Yahatu yastu agre Abhibhavaarthaha sa sakarmakaha. So that is the sakarmaka dhatu. So then actually that time in the class I couldn't answer that question. I was not aware of this thing. Later on, I was able to go back and answer. See, these questions, these students teach you the most, really. If you really want to learn something, try to teach somebody. Because you can only think in one way. Students think in so many different ways. They ask you so many questions. We get questions by email all the time. And all the time there are questions coming. And they force you to think, what is going on, because they think in different ways. And if he hadn't asked me the question, I may not have thought about this issue at all, because I didn't know that this issue was there. Okay, let's quickly look at it. So this, in fact, let's look at it over here. It might be easier. Dhatu Patha. Okay, let's go to Dhatu Patha, and these are these two dhatus, which is the G Jaye and G Abhibhave. So this G Jaye, this is the Akarmaka. Utkarsha Praptau and Abhibhave, this is the Sakarmaka dhatu. So right now that's why we have put in this document G Abhibhave, that's the number here. And other steps are the same, which is Shatru plus Shas plus G plus Quip. The dhatu G is the same sutram, and we get the steps are the same. Only thing we have Shas, Shatrun Jayati. Could have been, it doesn't have to be just Shas. It could have been also. Shatrun Jayati, Sarvapahar Lopaha, Supluk. Only thing happening here is Rasvasya Pitikriti Tuk. Rasvasya Pitikriti Tuk. So if you have a Rasva means has to be vowel only. It is followed by Pratyaya, which is Krut Pratyaya, which definitely we have right now, because the Pratyaya Quip, Pratyaya Lope, Pratyaya Lakshanam. Even though Quip has gone away, Sarvapar Lopaha, but still it has left the Lakshanam behind. It's a Krut Pratyaya because it's coming Adhikara of Kruda thing. And it's a Pit Pratyaya, of course, Sakshat. Pit is a Quip. So then the Rasva, Svaraha, so vowel, Ach, gets a Tuk Agamaha. Adyanta or Takito, it joins at the end of that. So this Ukaraha is the Rasvaha over here. No, excuse me. The Ikara is the Rasva over here. The Ikaraha is followed by the Pratyaya Tuk. Excuse me. It's followed by Pratyaya Quip. Tuk is the Agamaha. One more time. Is G, the end, that Ikara of G is the Rasvaha. It's followed by Quip, which is a Krut Pratyaya, it's a Pit Pratyaya. So that Ikara takes the Tuk Agama. This is not in the number. This number is 6171. It's not in the Angasya Adhikara. So we cannot say the Angam gets the Tuk Agama. This Ikara takes the Tuk Agama. Because the Krut Pratyaya, which is Pratyaya Lakshanam, it is still there. It's a Krut Pratyaya, it's a Pit Pratyaya. And by Adyanta or Takita, this Tuk joins at the end of the Ikara. And then Anubandha Lopaha Upadesha Nasikatalantyam Shatrujit. Okay. Now, I think in the book that's all we have. But I want to mention a couple of things over here. So he has covered only one sutram basically in the book over here, but okay. Yeah, he talks about this rasvasipiti tuk, the anubandha per addition of tuk at the end. But this quip has a few other rules, okay? They are not in the books. I don't want to spend it, and also writing time is coming up. I do want to mention that there is a kind of a general blanket rule, like which says that quip is. Let's look at this one, and we'll try to wind down the class. 3276 is anye quipcha, because the prior sutra was anye bhyopi drishyante. Some pratyas were given here prior to this, like this manin, kwanip, and vanip, etc. Anyway, that's not the topic right now. Anye bhyopi drishyante. So these pratyas can be seen after other dhatus also. And then quipcha. So quip also can be seen after dhatus. So quipcha is a blanket rule. It says that ayamapi drishyate. Ayamapi pratyaha quip. Anyebhyopi dhatubhyo drishyate. So quip is seen variously after, always the warning is shishta prayogaha. So this sutram quipcha sutram, anuvritti of anyebhyopi drishyate. The quipcha says, look at this, look at its vritti, it's amazing. I mean, the Ashta, there it's hard to find a vritti like this. It's really hard to find a vritti like this, which will give you such a, license to apply a rule in a broad, without, holding you back. Sarva dhatubhya, look at this, sarva dhatubhya, sopapadebhya. They may have upapadam also may be there, but nirupapadebhyascha. So which means that there may be an upapada, or there may be no upapada at all. It could be any dhatu. Chandasi bhashayamcha. It is in the Vedic and in the classic. Quip pratyabhavati. How about that? How about that to end the class today? Sarva dhatubhya. Any dhatu. Sopapadebhya. You can have upadam also can be there. Nirupapadebhyascha. But it may not be there also. It could be Vedic also. Chandasi, bhashayamcha, quip pratyaya bhavati. Now if we look at this, then what's the point of this one then? What's the point of this? This entire thing, satsu, dvisha, druha and all that. The same thing which we said earlier, that these forms are well authorized. We can form them and there should be no problem. But in order to use a sutram like this one, we have to have shishta sammatihi. It has to be a well-known form which has been approved by the scholars. So I mean, that's kind of difficult now because we have to have a good usage. The good authors, have to use that form, or at least a similar form. That's why Panini does give specific rules for quip. We saw only one of them today. There are others also, If you want, we can quickly mention these. I just wrote down here in the book these couple of other rules which we don't need right now, but there is a sutram called 3276, 87, and also there are also some specific rules which, I'm sorry, we just saw 76. The sutram is 87 is there. There's some quip coming in certain meanings with some niyamartham sutram, etc. So there are further details of quip are given. So special situation. Also quip comes at the end of 3.2. So even though the Antoine Book has given only one sutram is covered, and actually that's not the one sutram which gives you the blanket license, but he has given one important sutram, and quip also comes here in 32177 to 179. That comes in adhikara of tachila adhikaraha. So you see there are some special further varieties of quip in special situation, or they can come into, see this adhikara is the akvehe tachiyata dharmata sadhukarishu. So this has some special further conditions, using that quip of this 3 to, so up to see akvehe, up to quip it says akvehe. So up to quip, these conditions have to be satisfied. This in the condition of somebody who does it as habitually or as his dharma or is good at doing it, then this pratyaya can be used, quip can be used. this 3277 to 179 is coming here, and this we also look at 328. We didn't look at it, but just mentioned it. This is some Niyamantam Sutram is here, but I think for this lesson right now we used this one in great detail, this Sat, Su, Dvisha, etc. But what we can say to finish up this Quip Prakaranam is that this 3276 authorizes Quip to be used. Again, Shishta Prayoga is a Pramanam, Sarvadhatubhyaha, Sopapadebhyaha, Nrupapadebhyascha, Chandasi Bhashayam cha Quip. And then the Tattvabodhini, this is Tattvabodhini, I think. This Sutram, Sat, Su, Dvisha, iti, tu asyaiva prapanchaha. Prapancha, elaboration. So we really don't need 3261. It's an elaboration on this same Sutram 3270. So 3276 is enough. But Panini gives these others. Those are the well-known ones which can be formed without any hesitation. The extension, we have to be careful to check if there's values or not. Okay, so please put in the book 3276. It's a very important sutram. Quip is authorized in variety of situations. We have 5 minutes left. Let's just quickly introduce and we'll stop on time. So we're going to look at the pratyaya lyut. Okay, I just mentioned in the class today there is adhikara of bhave and akartaricha karake sanyayam. Adhikara runs from 3.3.18 up to 3 and 3.3.19 akartaricha karake sanyayam, all the way up to 3, and we are going to see this in the next page of the book in some detail. These are going to form a lot of masculine nouns. We also saw today we used to form Parishad, Upanishad, Striyam thing is coming here. Now, but for this section which is coming up now, the pratyaya lyut, that adhikara does not come. It ends. That adhikara of bhave and akriti chakarake sanyayam ends as 33112. So we are going to look at these rules, mainly these two rules, napumsake bhavektaha and karana adhikarana yosh. Just for homework, take these two rules, pratyaya lyut napumsake bhavektaha, sorry, lyutcha. Anuvritti of coming, napumsake bhavektaha is prescribed, but then lyutcha. In fact, maybe we'll look at this one also next time, just as a reference. Though right now we're talking about lyut. So look at lyutcha. 3311. It says bhave. Now you know what anuvritti is stopping. How do you know anuvritti stops, by the way? How do the scholars know that anuvritti stops? Because something conflicting comes. Something conflicting comes. So that means the anuvritti cannot continue anymore. So that's why you see now, Panini says bhave only now. Bhave ektaha. This is karna adhikarana yoshcha. So we cannot continue the anuvritti of akriti karake sanyayam cannot be continued anymore. So next time we look at this napumsake bhavektaha, sorry, lyutcha, anuvritti of napumsake bhave to form neuter abstract nouns. We'll also look at this karana adhikarana yoshcha in the sense of karana adhikarana, instrument and locus of an action. So that will be the topic for next class. We'll form these words like gamanam, shayanam, etc. And we'll also look at the instrument. So this one is 33115, number 1, then 33117 for number 2, number 3, and then starts pratyaya ghani and its apavadas. That's what I was talking about was this adhikara of 331819. 3318 bhave akriti sanya. Anuvritti of ghani is coming down from there. That ghani has apavadas, which is these two main apavadas. For that is erach and rudo rap. In this lesson, by the way, in the book, he has covered a vast topic in a very small chapter. Because, you know, dhatu adhikara, a lot of things covered, tadhitas are coming. So I'm trying to, try to keep the lesson, not too long, but we need to get some better feel of what's going on. So we'll look at this adhikara next time also to form masculine nouns. That's at the bottom of this page. So, these operations we already know. So look at 7352 for homework, please. That's only Anga Karyam, 7352. And let's see, time is up. Kaloti vartate. We are going beyond our time. Okay, and the next page he starts with Dita Dita Aha. Okay, look at 721171118, 64148, 64144. Again, next class I don't know how much you're going to get, because anyway, let me give you at least this section. Okay, so for the apatya adhikara, so and 4183, you know, the Pragdivyato and 4183, then Tasyapatyam 4192. We're completely switching gears. We're going to Tadita Adhikara now. Then 4224, 4325, 53. That's enough, because you know this prior page, I want to spend some time down here, because this is a very small thing he has given here. We're going to spend some more time. So next class we'll spend time with the Lyut 33115, 117, and go to the Gri Pratyaha, and which is the Adhikara from 3.1.18.19 all the way up to Striyamtin. So if you want to do some homework, just scan the Adhikara from 3.3.18.19 up to 3.3.93. Okay, let's stop with that. Well, thanks to Manoj for recording today. Ramo Rajamanis Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bhyata Nishachara Chamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Raman Nasti Paranam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittale Sada Bhotame Bhorama Mamudhara Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tatulyam Rama Nama Varadane Shri Rama Nama Varadana Undamati. Are you okay, Manoj?
Yeah, namaste. Everything is okay.
I think it's recording.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Hari Om Shubharatri.
Hari Om. Shubharatri.
The organizer has ended the session, and this call will be disconnected. Goodbye.